Ladies and gentlemen, it is your host, Andre Norman, and the president of Second Chance University. We are back with another episode of Ask Andre. Shout out to all my guys in Missouri, because y'all kicked us off.
What's up, world? It's your boy Jewel back in the building with my main man, Andre Norman, with another episode of Ask Andre. Episode 8. Question 1. How do you describe depression, and is depression a part of mental health?
The way I describe depression is it's an emotional thing. So when you're feeling down or you're not feeling up to your best, everybody has a core being. So you're at one level. You run a certain pace, you move a certain pace, you're a certain type of happy or whatever. And when you go below that, your normal standard, then you're probably moving in the space of depression because you're not happy about something went bad. It's usually some kind of thing that hits you. And what creates depression is not what hits you, but how you choose to look at it. So if my uncle died, I could be depressed. Oh man, that's my uncle. This is all bad. But let's say I was just his kid and he left me $1 million. I get $1 million, my uncle dies. So I'm not as depressed. So I've been kind of waiting for him to die. You know what I'm saying? So it's not what happens, but how you choose to ingest and deal with what happens. So when you take things to heart and you let them wear on you, they'll bring you down. So I think about my mom passing. I could be depressed about it, or I could be happy that she's not in pain anymore. So I'm not happy about it, but I can be depressed for me, or I can be happy for her, because she spent the last 6 months of her life in a lot of pain. So it's like, okay, I don't want her to be gone, but do I want to be selfish and keep her here in pain? So I'm happy she's in a better space. I'm saying, picture that. But her being in a better space doesn't include me, so that's where the depression comes in. My bad feelings come in, like I've been taken out of her good space. She's been a Christian, she's been a believer, she's going to see Jesus, she's on the way, she's there, so she should be happy, and I should be happy for her, but I'm missing and I'm losing because I don't have access to her like I used to. So the lack of access, I can say, did I get all the lessons I should have? Did I pay attention to what she said? Did I make the best use of my time? These are the things that cause depression, is regret. It's the things that I'm like, man, I wanted to say this, or I wanted to do that, or I wanted to fix this. So the depression comes when we don't handle things well and we didn't prepare for what was coming in most instances. So depression is a part of mental health. Your mental health includes your happiness, includes sadness, it includes stress, it includes good times, it includes excitement. Mental health is just anything that happens in your mental. So it's not just all negative. We talk about the negative a lot, but mental health includes happiness as well.
Question 2. What is mental health illness, and how did it come about throughout our culture?
Mental health as an illness, mental health is not an illness. Mental health is just your state of mental being. But mental illness can be created by a multitude of things. If you've been traumatized, if you've been neglected, if you've been abused, if you've been stuck on drugs and addicted for a long time, if you had any kind of addiction problems, these are things that can actually impact your health. Now, starting drugs is one thing, but if you use them long enough, they can impact your capacity of actually being. So then it impacts your capacity of actually being able to regulate yourself. So your ability to regulate, if something happens today, I decide if I'm gonna take it to heart and be happy about it, be sad about it, depressed about it. It's my personal choice. But once you get into addiction and you get into drugs, which alter your chemistry, now the choice is no longer yours, the drugs have a say. And when drugs have a say, drugs don't have the ability to rationalize, to feel emotions. So you do things out of direction from the drugs versus direction of your heart and your own mind. So mental illness is not really, what it says is this person doesn't have the same faculties as a normal human. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're slow. So it's just like, okay, here's the baseline. If everybody runs at 2 miles an hour and you run at 3, you're exceptional. But if everybody runs at 2 miles an hour, you run at 1, you're slow. So slow would be the equivalent of being mentally ill in that space. So you're just not, it's based on normalcy of the masses. So hey, you can be able to read by the time you're 4. So if you start reading when you're 2, oh my God, he's a genius. You start reading at 7, oh my God, he's slow. So mental illness is more of the capacity to deal with or be in status quo to everybody else. I say mental illness, this is Andre's definition. Mental illness comes into play when there's a chemical imbalance in your system. You being slow or fast is not mental illness. It's just developmental. So I developed late. Some people develop early. Some people get tall early. Some people, I was short forever. But that's another thing. So developmentally is not mental illness. A chemical imbalance, in my mind, is what creates mental illness, because now it's not your choice. You don't have the capacity to make the decision. So there are some ailments that you can be born with that'll severely impact your ability to make decisions. And again, it's that compared to a regular human. What is a regular human? That's a long story, but compared to a regular human. So handicapped is someone who's not born with the same capacities as a regular human. So my arm might be messed up. My eye might be closed. I might be blind or deaf. We call this handicapped, but Ray Charles was handicapped. I wish I had Ray Charles' talent. Stevie Wonder was handicapped. I wish I had Stevie Wonder's talent. And you can go down the list. So handicap doesn't mean less than. It just means you, compared to the normal person, don't have the same capacity or the same facility. And then you can even overcome that, as the 2 people I mentioned did. So mental illness, in my mind, is when you have a chemical imbalance in your body that you can't control. Now you need medication to regulate that. So, and it's just, where it comes from, comes with being alive. You know what I'm saying? There's just no rhyme or reason why people are mentally ill, why people are developmentally slow or fast or anything else. Everybody's gifted in a space. Even the people who are deemed mentally ill or handicapped, Stevie Wonder found his gift. You know what I'm saying? So if we can find our gifts like he found his, we'd be great.
Question 3. Is thoughts of suicide a reflection of mental health or some other type of illness?
Thoughts of suicide is not mental health. Thoughts of suicide is society and society's pressure or display on you. You can only think of what's been displayed for you. You've never thought about eating rocks. You know why? You never saw anybody eat rocks. You don't think about trying to fly. Why? Because you've never seen anybody fly. You try to do what you've seen other people do. So when you say, I want to end my life, that's more of something that you saw and that you're mimicking. Humans weren't designed to end their own lives. So, but now we have freedom of choice, we have freedom of thought, and you see other people or you hear of other people doing it, then it becomes, oh, that's a possibility. So now in your weakened state or your depraved state, you will think of every option avoided to you. You're saying, so when I'm home. I've been home for 25 years. I still have violent thoughts. What do you mean, Dre? I think about punching people, kicking people, running people off the road, all of that. I don't do it, but I have the thoughts. Well, how could you have no thoughts, Dre? You've been good for 25 years. Well, for the 25 years before that, really 32, every day was violence. Every day was violence. Every day was violence. So even though I don't subscribe to that, it's a choice. My mind knows it as an option. My mind scans every option when confronted with a situation. So the option of getting high is real. I think about it. I just don't do it. I never did it. Drinking is real. So when I get stressed out, I don't think I'm gonna have a beer because I don't drink. But I know it's there. I don't see that as a relief because I've never tried it. So my mind doesn't consider go get drunk. My mind doesn't consider go get high. My mind considers go hit somebody. My mind considers go box or do something physical. I'm saying that's where I come from. So to answer the question, suicide is a response to people who are in a stressed out state as an option that was presented in another capacity at another time. It's not innate for a person to want to commit suicide. It's a learned response to somebody else's trauma. My opinion.
Question 4. are the signs and triggers of mental health illness?
Signs and triggers of mental health illness, I think we have the wrong definition of mental health. I'm breaking down, we're just gonna do prison, we're talking about prison. So I'm in prison, I spent years in solitary confinement. And there was 15 of us on the road. We're down there 24 and 0. Supposed to be 23 and 1. Sometimes you get out, sometimes you don't. In the wintertime, it was 24 for me. I don't play the winter, so I don't go outside in the freeze. I don't play snow, so I stayed inside 24 hours all winter. So it's like October to like April, I'm indoors, 24 hours. So that for solitary for me, it was 24 hours from September, October to April. Until the snow was gone, I ain't coming outside. We weren't designed as humans to be locked in a cell 24 hours a day, without sunlight, without human contact, without exercise, all these things that make a prison run in this instance. Now, I hurt somebody, and I got placed in solitary, and I hurt somebody again, and they put me in Supermax, so I didn't just fall down in the cell one day. They're like, hey, just throw them in there. I earned my way into that space. But now that I'm in this space, aside from the institutional part, as a human, I'm not designed for this. So I need stimulation, I need sunlight, I need to be able to get mobile, walk around. All the things that I can't do are now impacting me on a daily basis. So I start saying, man, and I start shutting down. I'm not talking to anybody, so I stopped talking. I mean, one time I went on this, I'm not gonna talk to anybody thing. And maybe for like 5 or 6 days, I didn't say a word. I'm like, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna be silent. Silence the biggest aggression. So I went dead silent for I don't know how long it was. It was a long time though. When the time was up, when I wanted to say something, I went to talk and my tongue didn't work. I was like, whoa, I won't do that no more. My tongue forgot how to work because I stopped using it. I just intentionally didn't talk for like a week. I went to go talk, the muscles of my tongue had shut down. I was babbling. I'm like, yo, I sound like I'm crazy. I was like, I'll never do that again, because what happens if it shuts off completely? And being incarcerated at any level, at any stage, GP, solitary confinement, or someplace in the middle, is not a natural thing for humans. It's something humans have created and well the exact punishment and create safety for people who don't act right. But just as a human level, incarceration is not a human thing, and your body and your mind is gonna take a hit on that. You know what I'm saying? So you're taking daily hits just from being confined. You're taking daily hits from not having the mobility to walk out into the sun and get fresh air. Adam and Eve, going back to the first people, were born and naked, and they lived in nature. So they lived their bodies to the ground. They walked around on the ground in the Garden of Eden, the garden, feet to ground. You know what I'm saying? So they're touching the earth, and the sun is shining on them, it's raining on them, and all that stuff. Now you put me in a cement building with some boots on, with some artificial light. You know what I'm saying? It's the opposite of what God designed, you know what I'm saying, for people. So your body's taking a hit, you're taking a hit, and you have to come up with ways to counteract that. First, you need to know what's happening. Then you need to work on counteracting it. So there's no signs. It's just, if you're in prison, every day is a struggle. And every day you need to be vigilant about reading, writing, not just, I used to scribble my name on a piece of paper all the time. Trey, why you do that? Just keep my hand in motion. I need my hand to be in motion. I just can't just sit and I just write my name. I ain't know how to write up. I just write my name all the time, write my name. My brain is working, my mind is working, my eyes are working, cognitive things are moving, I'm thinking. You can't just let your brain shut down. You can't let your heart shut down, your senses shut down. So you have to keep emotionally and mentally and physically in motion to the best of your ability.
Question 5. When people feel like they are losing hope, how can they regroup and encourage themselves to never give up hope?
If you're having a bad day, you're in prison, you're having a bad day, I don't care what you got for a sentence, go down, ask to go to the hospital. Most prisons I've been in have a hospital wing. And they have if they have a hospice wing in your unit, I was at MCI Norfolk, and I went to the hospital one day because my back was bad. And I went up on the wings, they couldn't put the heat pad down in the regular thing, so they go up on the hospice ward. People did laying there waiting to die. There was a whole wing full of people who either really bad off or waiting to die. And it made me rethink about, wow, I'm not this bad. You know what I'm saying, if you think you're having a bad day, You can turn on the news, go on the National Geographic, go on something. There's someplace in the world doing worse than you. And we like to think of ourselves as, oh, this is really bad, it doesn't get worse than this. Some people would trade places with you in a minute. There's over 1 million people on this planet would gladly take your cell. They're living out in the woods, they're living in a refugee camp, they're on the run because there's some kind of turmoil in their region. They would gladly take your bed, your running water, your 3 meals a day, your shower, your rec yard, and the telephone on the wall, the TV in the day room. They will take all of that without even a blink. They're like, yo, you gonna go to prison for the next 5? Yes. Prison in America is better than free in a lot of countries. So if you start feeling like, oh my God, this is bad, I'm not saying feel bad for them, but start reading. You have to be mentally active. Stop thinking it's all about you. You can read autobiographies from back in the days from multitudes of people who've been through a lot of stuff. I'm saying there's documentaries out of people who've been through a lot of stuff and they've made it. That means you can make it. But you can't, if you're just in your own head, then it's just you versus you versus you, then you're only gonna see it one way. Broaden your horizons, pick up a book, get off channel ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, get on some National Geographic, get on public access, whatever it is, PBS, and start watching some real life stories of some real life people who have done miraculous things. Or you can watch Ask Andre, because he went from prison to Harvard and bounced back and got his own show.
Question 6. How does someone feel worthy of being a success if they have mental health issues?
Well, I got mental health issues, and I am damn happy to be successful. So let me ask myself that question. Trey, how do you feel about being successful with mental health problems? You know something, D? I'm doing all right. Yo, Trey, but you know you have crazy. Yeah, but they pay me for being crazy, and it works. Yo, Trey, but yo, man, how you gonna have this? How you take that mental health thing, man, and flip it? Man, listen, I just accepted who I was, what I was, and I said, this is all I got, so I gotta make it work. Yeah, I'm crazy as you wanna be. You know what I'm saying? So I stopped a long time ago trying to be perfect. I'm not gonna be Einstein. I'm not gonna run like Michael Vick. I'm not gonna jump like Michael Jordan or John Morant. So I'm just me. I find a way to make me work. Again, everything else is status quo. It's all like they do percentages. So 60% of people can jump this high. 100% of people can jump this high. I don't care about percentages. I'm a little bit crazy. I grew up in the hood. Parents went through craziness. You know what I'm saying? Free lunch kid. Used to hustle in the street. Spent too many years in solitary account. Yeah, I got some issues, but I make my issues work for me. You know what I'm saying? Having issues ain't the problem. Make them work for you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of inventions came from necessity. Necessity is the mother of inventions. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we got refrigerators, we got irons, we got planes, we got phones. All this is based on somebody not having. So look at your lack and figure out how to turn it into a lot.
Question 7. Why do people feel alone even when they are in the midst of other people and loved ones?
Oh, that's me. Yo, y'all hit me dead on today. I can be in a group of 50 people and I still be by myself because I live in my head. I don't do emotions. So I live in my head 99.9% of the time. I'm in my brain, in my head. I'm thinking things. I think my way through. I don't feel my way through. I think my way through. So you put me in a room with 50 people, 100 people, 20,000 people, I'm still in my head. My saying used to be in the penitentiary, you can send me anywhere you want. As long as you can't separate me from me, I don't care where you send me. Been to Pennsylvania, been to Oklahoma, been to Indiana, been to Tennessee, been to New York. They sent me all over the country. They tried me. They sent me. They said, we're gonna test that theory. And they sent me to like 9 different states when I was on feds. But you couldn't separate me from me because I was so locked into myself that nothing else mattered. So now I live in my head. So now when I'm home, I always kind of sort of feel alone because only I can fit in my head. You know what I'm saying? This is one of the things to the last Ask Andre that was like, well, hey, how come you don't have a wife again? I live in my head. So it's hard for me to connect to people who are, if you're emotional and I'm what do they call it? Not philosophical. I'm whatever they call it in my, it's a word for this being in my head all the time. If you're emotional and I'm philosophical, whatever the word is for being in my head, don't quote me, then we're gonna have a hard time matching up. If you don't accept me for me and I can accept you for you. Most people want me to be emotional, which is a tough task. So crowds of people, you'll see me, I'm the life of the party, but I'm just waiting to get home. People like, yo, Trey, you lit that whole party up, yep, and watch me leave. So yeah, it's normal to be, if that's just who you are, it's okay. I'm saying, but if you're just scared of crowds, that's some phobia stuff. I don't have a phobia. I just prefer to be home.
Question 8. What can be done about bringing mental health awareness to our communities on a bigger scale?
Man, listen, there's 650,000 of you watching this right now. If each one of you wrote somebody in your family or a loved one a letter and said, hey, this is mental health, this is what it means to me, I want you to be aware, I want you to pay attention, and here's some solutions to some things that I came up with to get through my day. Now, they're gonna get the letter on the street and say, well, this dude's in prison and he managed to figure it out. My day's not as bad as his. So that's 650,000 communities hit with a letter. So how do we do it? We have to take action. There's nobody's gonna drop down out of the sky, come down and do this for us. If we collectively just share that, then we can make a change. We've said enough, oh man, I stood on my head in the corner for 10 years, man. I break bricks with my teeth. Out to the youngins, and they rush into the prison. Because they think prison is a fun place, because we sent that message for years. Prison ain't nothing, I got this. Man, you can do this, it's easy. So youngins like, I can go. Man, OD told me it was easy. He's staying on his head. And all the rest of that foolishness we should send home. We can change the narrative of what we send home. We can start sending home messages of education, messages of overcoming, messages around mental health. We have the ability. There's nobody else on our way.
Question 9. How can people with low self-esteem gain the confidence they need to know that they can be successful and that life is not against them?
If you have low self-esteem, you need to get in my class. That's it. Someone has to show you and teach you, walk you through the low self-esteem. It's called imposter syndrome, low self-esteem, all the same difference. So if you're just not like really a believer in yourself, you need help in that space, it's like a muscle. If I go to the gym, start doing them curls, my arms will swell up, but the rest of my body won't be in tune. I look deformed. So when you go to the gym, you should go with somebody who knows what they're doing to make sure. That's why you see the dudes, they do shoulders one day, traps one day, forearms one day, legs one day, you know what I'm saying? Stomach one day, core, cardio. It's a system. So when it comes to mental health, when it comes to esteem, when it comes to imposter syndrome, you might need someone to help you in the beginning, then you can take it from there. So sign up for my mentorship class and let me know that's your problem or your issue. Don't want to say it's a problem, and we'll help you with it. But you can definitely get through it. I did.
Question 10. Do you think medication alone is the answer to mental health issues, or is it just a temporary solution that hides the problem?
When it comes to medication, I am not a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist recommends and prescribes drugs. I at no time have the ability or the right to prescribe drugs, to tell you to take them or not to take them. If you have a chemical imbalance, now how do you determine someone has a chemical imbalance? A doctor does that. If you have a chemical imbalance, then you need medicine. So if you have high blood pressure, that is a chemical imbalance. They will give you medicine to balance your blood pressure. If you have sugar/diabetes, they will give you medicine to help you regulate your diabetes. That is a chemical imbalance in your system. So the same way you can have diabetes, high blood pressure, or the rest, and stress, there's medicine for that. You know what I'm saying? To help you, when you get a cold, something as basic as a cold, I got one right now. I get a cold, the chemical imbalance in my life is off. There's too many germs, there's too much shit. The red blood cells, white blood cells, it's clogging up my nasals because I have a chemical imbalance. I take Dayquil, NyQuil, Sudafed, and all the rest of this wonderful stuff, and it helps clear it out and balance my system. Best way to explain it. So the same way you get a cold, the same way you have high blood pressure, the same way you have sugar issues, you take chemicals to balance it. Mental health is the same. If you have a chemical imbalance, that affects your brain, you would need medicine to balance that out. Now, only a doctor can determine if your serotonin levels and all the rest of them levels are where they're supposed to be. I have no understanding how to take blood tests and figure out what it is. But if you have a chemical imbalance, there's a good chance, not a mandatory chance, that you will need medicine to regulate that. If you don't have a chemical balance, then yes, it is just placating you to the next stop.
Question 11. How do you advise that someone can easily replace negative thoughts with positive ones?
How do you replace negative with positive? You stack up the positives. For years, we stacked up the negatives. I'm gonna punch him in his face. I ain't taking no shorts. I'm gonna stand on my ground, 10 toes down. I'm gonna put in work. I'll take it to the grave. Those are the thoughts that we told ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We going all in. We'll burn this thing down. We told all this negative. I'll blow his cap off. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. Between saying it and listening to it in the music, we just reinforce it. The music reinforces the thoughts. Yo, I go hard all day long. So those are the thoughts that spin in your head. Stop listening to music where they're killing people. Stop listening to music where they're smacking and stopping people. Stop listening to music where they're selling drugs and doing all kinds of craziness. You know what I'm saying? And start being around people who have positive talks. Now, well, Dre, how does that work? It is what it is. I'm not saying join the church. I'm just saying go to a church service. They have it on Sunday. They really got it 7 days a week. They got something going on over there. I'm saying go down to the church and just sit in the back. And I guarantee you for that entire service, nobody's gonna get stabbed, shot, pistol whipped, I'm saying thrown off a building, choked out. There'll be none of that discussion. It's gonna be that goofy Christian stuff. Go to the mass chair on Friday while they're praying. And if you don't want to pray, you don't have to pray, but just sit and say, hey man, I'm just coming, I'm just trying to get the vibe. If they'll allow you, you might have to ask, sit in the back of the mosque while these brothers are praying, they do Jumu'ah. I think they do a lesson first or after during the prayer, but in that mix somewhere. But I can assure you, nobody's talking craziness. You know what I'm saying? You can go to Jewish services, you can go to Catholic, you can go to Christian, you can go to Rosh Hashanah, you can go to Rastafarian. Go to a religious service and just sit down. Well, Dre, I am dead set against religion. It's not about religion. I'm not saying join the religion, but just be around people who are talking positive stuff. Even if they're faking. You know what I'm saying? I done been in some services, these dudes are straight faking. But it don't matter. I'm not about how sincere they are. It's not a sincerity check. It's a place where people are talking positive. You don't have to worry about how sincere they are about it. Well, Dre, I still ain't going to church or religious service. I hear what you're saying, I still ain't going. What can I do next? Is there a chess club at your facility? Go to the chess club. Sit in the chess club. There's gonna be very little drama in the chess club. It's not gonna be a lot of talking either, but it's gonna be more thinking and strategy. Go to a chess club. Do not go to a basketball game. Don't go to a softball game. Don't go to a soccer match. There's a lot of drama in there because people lose badly. So where else can you go? I would say library, but there's a lot of stuff you pop in the library and got nothing to do with the library. So I wouldn't necessarily say library. But the goal is to be around people who are having positive conversations. That's the goal. So positive, constructive, uplifting, moving forward stuff. So one of the religious services definitely works. Chess club to a lesser extent. Sometimes they have groups on the campus. So I wouldn't go to NNAA looking for positivity, even though they're healthy. They're trying to help people purge. You're gonna hear a lot of stuff in the process that you're not looking to hear at one level. So my best suggestion is attend any religious group. Doesn't matter if it's your ethnicity, your side of town, or whatever. Just go sit in the back. Don't try to be all up front asking 50 questions. Sit in the back and just feel the vibe.
Question 12. Mr. Norman, have you ever had mental health issues or suicide thoughts, and how did you overcome them, if so?
I still have mental health issues. It's called being human. It's called being alive. You know what I'm saying? So I struggle with the fact that my mom passed. I struggle that my father's in a nursing home and we don't get along well. I struggle with the fact that me and my brothers and sisters aren't as close as we are. I struggle with the fact that I got a homie, you know what I'm saying, who's locked up down in Kentucky, Florida someplace, and I can't get him home. You know what I'm saying? I'm struggling. I mean, there's 1,000 things that create mental health. See, having mental issues doesn't mean you're crazy. That's what black folks say on our side of town. Mental health means crazy. Mental health doesn't mean crazy. Mental health just means you're dealing with stuff. And the only time you stop dealing with stuff is when you don't live here no more. So it is gone. So having issues is fine. It's how you deal with the issues. My response to be, if you call me, yo, you's a sucker, Dre, we fighting. Yo, Dre, we fighting. That was my response to everything. We fighting some kind of sort of way. We gotta bump heads. And that was my go-to response, because that's what I was taught. That's a mental health condition. Now it's like, I got a lot to lose. I got stuff to do. Maybe this brother needs some help. Maybe he just needs a hug or whatever, but it's no longer we gotta fight. The we gotta fight is over now. You know what I'm saying? So that used to be where I come from. Now I'm in a better space because I've learned to think better. Because I got around, I used to go to the Catholic church and sit in the back and just listen. I went to Protestant services and sat in the back. They started preaching too fast. They were jumping chapter and verse. I couldn't keep up. It was no drama, but I really couldn't keep up. And they were going too fast. So I went back and I went to Catholic church. I went to Mass on Monday nights at Norfolk. I sit in the back. And this is the thing about Mass. It's the same every week. So after about 4 weeks, you'll learn the entire service. You can go to Protestant services. You can go for 7 months in a row and not catch on. But you will get the word, but you won't get a system. When I sat in the back of Mass, I got the system and I learned how it was moving. I just kept hearing positive words, positive words, positive words. And that's what I did. And I'd go sit and just listen. And the funny thing is, the Orthodox Jewish rabbi, the Jewish chaplain, the Catholic chaplain, and the Protestant chaplain all sat with me at different times, just had conversations. It wasn't about me becoming any of those or them becoming me. It was just, I need to have positive conversations with somebody who had an open heart and mind. And I used to sit with the chaplains and just have conversations. And it was good for my therapy and my turning around. And I did go to mental health services. Have I ever had suicidal thoughts? I would have to say yes to one degree. I never like I'm going to do this right now thing. But you'd be like, man, I don't need to be here. I mean, it's what happens, I said it earlier. When you learn or know that it's a possibility, you consider it. So I've heard of people dying from suicide in multiple ways. So when I get stressed out, it is a thought because my brain scans, how do I fix this? And the thought of what happened to 10 friends will become real to me. Am I gonna do it? No. I put as much energy into suicide as I do to go getting drunk. But I still think, drink? Nah. Suicide? Nah. But the thought comes. You can't stop thoughts. So if you've seen it, your brain will think it again.
Question 13. Is mental health and trauma the same? If so, can you explain?
I would say mental health and trauma are not the same. My definition of mental health is chemical imbalance. That's something in the way that you're born. You might get in an accident, you fall down, or something happens to you, and it shifts you get in a car crash, or you get hit in the head. Now there's some kind of trauma to your brain, which causes, I'm saying, your chemicals to go off school. So chemical imbalance to me is mental health. Trauma is me watching my mom get beat. Me growing up in the hood where they shooting at people. Me growing up in penitentiary where they stabbing and fighting all the time or living in the cell. That's trauma. That's not mental health. Trauma can lead to mental health breakdowns because now you stop doing what, again, mental health is based on your proximity to the rest of the masses. So there's 4 billion people in the world and they all do this at this time. So you're expected to keep step with the masses, and that's how they gauge this. Reading levels, this levels, that levels. So when you keep suffering trauma, you're falling off the numbers of the people you should be lined up with. So if you go to, I remember I went to the hospital and they said, okay, they determine if you're obese, your height, your weight, your age. So I was 28, I was this tall, they said you should be this weight. There's a chart that says how based on your height and age, how much you should weigh. It doesn't know Andre, it's just this is a generic chart across the country. They've done so much research, some doctor sat in the room and said, if you're 6'2", you should be no heavier than 185. Or if you're 6'2", you should be no heavier than 125. If you're 6'2", you should be 25 pounds. It's just normal. So it's based on the mass numbers and the status quo. So you having trauma will throw you off those numbers. literally. I was watching basketball the other day, and LeBron James Jr., aka Bronny, came up on the screen. Had his height and had his weight. He was 6'2", 210 pounds. In my opinion, 210 pounds is too heavy for a point guard. You can't move as fast as somebody that weighs 165. So John Morant probably weighs like 160, 170. Allen Iverson was like 160, 170. So if you got Bronny, he's at 210. He's not a quick, super fast point guard. He can be fast, but he's not super fast like AI used to be. So I just said that's heavy for a point guard in the NBA. Not in college, not in AAU, not wherever. In my opinion, 210, 6'2", so I'm thinking of guys who are 6'8", weigh 210. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, he's kind of heavy for his height. Doesn't mean he can't play, doesn't mean he won't have a great career, but if you just look at all the NBA point guards who are 6'2", I guarantee you most of them are going to range around 170. So in that instance, LeBron James Jr. is a little bit out of skew with the rest of them. Doesn't mean he can't be an all-star, doesn't mean he can't be a Hall of Famer. He's just different than the rest. And that's when it comes to mental health, is based on where you fit in proximity to everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, but trauma is something that you go through and how you respond to it. Some people, it just shuts their brain off. Trauma can shut your brain down. It is not a joke. So if you get traumatized, it can then shut your brain down. And then now you went all the way to the point where you need, you have a chemical imbalance because the trauma hits you so hard that it reconfigures your brain and it shuts you down and shuts something off. It shuts some sensors off or some cords or some pathways or something. So there is a difference between trauma and mental health. In my opinion, mental health is based on chemical imbalance. Trauma is based on things that you've gone through, which can lead to a chemical imbalance.
Question 14. At what age do you think mental illness strikes?
Mental illness can strike at birth, can strike at 50, 60, 70, 80. It knows no boundaries. It's kind of like cancer. We think of cancer, we think old people. My nephew had cancer when he was 16. There's wards of hospitals with kids with cancer with 1, 2, 3, 4 years old. So we don't think of kids having cancer, but they do. It's just not, again, the norm. Normally, people get cancer in older years, but there are young people, adolescents, who have cancer right now and are dying from it right now. So there's no rhyme or reason to trauma. There's no rhyme or reason to mental health. It just is what it is.
Question 15. Why do people who goes through mental health issues shut everybody out?
First, going through mental health issues, it hurts. So when somebody hurts, they tend to retract. I'm saying they might lash out, but they're gonna retract at some point. So they're gonna shut down, try to figure it out. So your brain is gonna shut you down, and hopefully you can figure this thing out. You know what I'm saying? So when you get a cut on your hand, it hurts, and then all the blood in your body rushes to that spot, and it tries to stop the wound and repair itself. So it shuts down other parts of the blood flow, so it can get as much as it can to this spot. So when somebody has a traumatic experience, again, not a mental health condition, a traumatic experience, your body's gonna shut down and try to regroup. While it's regrouping, it's like rebooting a computer. If you reboot a computer, you can't use it while it's rebooting. Some people, if not most, go to themselves. There are those people who just become super talkative, but that's not the norm. Again, it's just you're rebooting and you're trying to find your space. And sometimes some people come out of it fast. Sometimes it takes them longer, but it's normal to shut down. The question is how long you stay shut down.
Question 16. What are some ways to get through depression?
Get through depression. Read some happy books. Read some happy books. Get a book about something happy, about somebody who did something great. Don't read like Nelson Mandela, who spent 28 years in prison. Don't read a book about somebody who came out of slavery and got beat for 20 years and made great. Don't read the rags. Read a happy book. Go get a happy book. There are happy books out here. Haha, happy book. Go get a happy book, man. This is actually a happy book. there's not a lot of trauma in this. It's a lot of strife, but there's nobody getting shot, killed, or beat up. Go get a happy book. Get a novel about some happy stuff. You know what I'm saying? Read some sci-fi. You know what I'm saying? Go watch Star Wars or something. Read a happy book. You know what used to make me happy? Watching cartoons as a kid. I love Speed Racer. I love Batman, the old school. I love Superman. I love Aquaman. I loved all my cartoons. Underdog, that was my show. You know what I'm saying? So, matter of fact, this is literally not a joke. Y'all think I'm joking. I keep this. Come on, man. Where's my Underdog? It's making me look bad, man. I got my Underdog commercial. Oh, isn't that what? It's on the Riff Raff. Aha, I know I got it. There we go. You got it?
There's no need to fear. Underdog is here.
Time again for the Underdog Show, starring the champion of champions, Underdog.
This is my joint right here. This is my joint. I'll tell you about it after.
When in this world the headlines read of those whose hearts are filled with greed, who rob and steal from those who need to right this wrong with blinding speed goes Underdog. 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 Speed of lightning, roar of thunder, fighting all through rubber thunder. Underdog. Underdog.
I keep that in my phone. I'm already smiling. Damn near bring me to tears. Happy tears. I grew up watching Underdog, one of my favorite cartoons. And so I keep that in my phone. I looked at the wrong thing. I had it under Underdog instead of Riff Raff. Riff Raff, I'll tell you. But when I get stressed or if I'm in a good mood, I'll play that. I keep that. That's my childhood. That was happy days, happy moments. So go watch cartoon. They might not have, they didn't have Barney when I was a kid. I don't know what the cartoons are now, but check a cartoon. You know what I'm saying? I keep that in my phone. And the crazy part about this is my favorite character from this cartoon was named Riff Raff, who was a criminal. He was gangster. I don't know if they showed it, but he out robbing people, shaking them down, and he ends up going to jail. So maybe that was like subconscious that the guy I followed as a kid was a crook and ended up going to jail. But Riff Raff was my guy, and that's why I keep this. So what you can do, read a happy book, get a cartoon, get something. There's so much stuff out there that you can use to help you break through. I used to go out in the rec yard and just look at trees and look at flowers and look at clouds and just be like, yo, and daydream. You know what I'm saying? Daydreaming is phenomenal, great tool. You know what I'm saying? If there's negative stuff coming, just keep daydreaming about positive stuff. But it comes through.
Question 17. How do you feel for people with mental health issues, and is there anything that you can do to get them ahead?
What I feel is if you have a chemical imbalance, you need to go get diagnosed, checked, and take your medicine. If you've been traumatized, you need to go to counseling and therapy and regulate yourself and find a way to get yourself on track. I believe you can be great from either space if you do the steps it takes to be great. If you sit around saying, oh man, I got this situation, oh man, I got this situation, then you just become a victim to the thing that you're dealing with. I'm not a victim, refuse to be. I'm saying, I was in prison, I'm not a victim of the criminal justice system. I'm saying, I went in and turned it into a college. It wasn't the best college ever, but I turned it into a college. I'm saying, I took all my adversities and I made them strengths. I'm already strong, so I got 10 strengths and I got 10 adversities. I took my 10 adversities and made them stronger than my 10 strengths. Can't do nothing with me now. I'm a beast. You know what I'm saying? Why is Ray a beast like that? Because I took the 10 strongest things against me, and I put them on top of the 10 strongest things I already had. Then I took the 10 things on the bottom, and I stacked them back up on top. You know, y'all can't get me. You can't break me, you can't bend me, you can't mold me, you can't nothing me. I'm saying, because I just keep stacking greatness. I look at the weakest part of myself, stack it. Stack it. I'm saying we fix that, stack it, one thing at a time. So it's doable.
Question 18. How do you feel it affects the human society as a whole?
Mental health is one of the things that people misjudge and use against folks because they might be slower, they might not be as in tune. Somebody said to me the other day, I said, yo, Dre, how do you think so fast? I said, Lily said, I can't think that fast. I've had multiple people tell me, you think fast. I don't think that fast. Where do you get, you just like this. You're like, boom, boom, boom. It was the house I grew up in. My mother, my sisters, my brothers. There was 6 of us, plus mom, that's 7. And we talked. We didn't have games. There was no internet. There was no phone. So we all talked. My mother was super intelligent, super articulate, and super quick with it, and sarcastic, and direct, and bold, and aggressive. So in my house, if you couldn't speak, you get run over. We didn't beat each other up as much, but we definitely verbal battles. And it was normal in my house. Verbal battles were just completely normal. And we went at it with words. From the time I was a little kid to the time I got big, it was all about words. And again, turning tragedy into triumph. I watched my mom fight my dad, and she never won. But I watched her try to talk her way through it and talk her way around it and talk her way out of it. And I watched that, and it didn't work. So I subconsciously was trying to come up with ways that she could use. So I'm trying to come up with strategies to get my mom away from my dad or through these beatings, and it never worked. But my mind is in that space, and then we're in crisis. Stuff will come at us like, boom, dad kicks the door off the hinges. What do? You gotta start talking, you know what I'm saying? You better start coming up with reasons why you shouldn't get a beating, or something went bad and dad's coming. Now my dad is from the country. And so my dad was a country guy. So when we get in trouble, the teacher would call him, he would come get us, and I would talk him out of giving me a beating. By the time I got home, it was the teacher's fault. All the time. So for me not getting the beating, I had to start talking, because dad picked me up in that white truck, and he started driving me to the house. I know I'm getting beaten. Ain't no way around this. I started talking as fast as I could, and I'd look for them little gaps and weaknesses, and I'd talk him out of that beating. I was great at talking myself out of beatings from my dad. He got to one point, he was like, I ain't hear nothing. Don't talk to me. I don't want to hear it. Because he realized after the fact that I got him, but it's too late. I'm gone. The next time he come get me, I do it again. One time he's like, don't say nothing. Shut up. And I'm trying to figure out how I can trick him not beating me from silence. What kind of face can I put on? So it's doable. You can win, and I think everybody should stop judging people, because it's a waste of time. You're judging somebody and you're not working on you.
Question 19. Do a person ever get over mental illness?
You don't get over mental illness. It's not something to get over. If you have a chemical imbalance, it is what it is. If you suffered trauma, it is what it is. If you've been through some stuff, it is what it is. If you read faster or think faster, it is what it is. It all comes to a grinding halt when you're about 98. So it doesn't matter. Whatever you had early on at 20, 30, 40, it's gonna be drastically different at 90. I will not be thinking or speaking this fast at 98, I don't believe. It'd be nice, but I'm not betting on it. So everything diminishes over time. We're gonna live our lives. Every stage of your life is a blessing. No 2 stages are the same, meaning day to day is different. And so you don't get over, you just adjust and move forward. So I remember I just jump up and run. Now I jump up, I start creaking, and I gotta stretch first and all kinds of other stuff. I mean, it's a different phase of my life. So I can be mad that I'm not as flexible and as agile and as fast, but now I'm more reflective, thoughtful, and thinking. So, I mean, you lose something, you gain something, you just gotta make it work for you. But no, you don't get over it, it's just how life works.
Question 20. Do you feel like therapy is a solution for depression and mental health, or is it really needed in our community?
I recommend therapy to everybody who's watching this thing. If you got one of these things in your hand right now, please sign up for therapy. Mental health, counseling, whatever they got there, go. If they ain't got, the line's too long, go to the church, sit with a chaplain. I ain't from that religion. It's not about being religion. Having somebody, all chaplains from all faiths are trained to do counseling. All chaplains from all faiths are trained to do counseling. I went to the religious services with a Jewish rabbi. I'm not Jewish, he ain't black. I'm saying not that black is religion, but he sat and he talked to me every Wednesday. Then I went to the Catholic Church, they sat and talked to me every Friday. I went to the Protestant services, they sat and talked. Nobody said, hey, you're going over there, we ain't gonna talk to you no more. I went to as many people to talk to me as I could. I had a lot of problems. I needed multiple people. So I took these to the rabbi, I took these people to the priest, took these problems. I had enough problems for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I had enough problems with like 50 counselors, but I went in and I got help. So I strongly advocate you go to some kind of counseling, therapy, intervention, not walk the yard with your mans because they suffering from the same thing you suffering. So yeah, definitely. And when I came home, for the first 2 or 3 years, I kept going to counseling.
Question 21. How do you describe the symptoms of mental health and trauma?
Symptoms of mental health, again, is gonna be the chemical imbalance. So you can just kind of tell when somebody's not right. I'm saying they just got that with them. When I say not right, it's not they're not normal in the sense of the masses. They have that thing that's slightly different. And then as far as trauma, how do you sell somebody's trauma? If you know somebody, again, the trauma is based on your baseline. So this is how you are right now. You're this regular person. This traumatic things happen, now you shift. Before you were open, you were hot, you were kicking it, you're up, now you don't talk. Now you don't come around. You was all energetic, wanted to play ball, you want to dunk on people, now you don't want to play sports. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your girl left you, maybe your arm got sick. So things happen that change your continence. So you can be completely one way today, then something happens tomorrow, and you respond, you shut your body down, you shut down what you like to do, because you're so overwhelmed by the trauma. Again, blood rushing to that spot in your body that's cut. So your whole emotions rush to the part of the body that's hurt, and you stop everything else. So it's not good to bleed from multiple places at the same time. It's not good to suffer multiple traumas at the same time if you can avoid it. So the way you treat it, the way you deal with it, you know what I'm saying, is imperative if you want to stay afloat, and you can definitely bounce back.
Question 22. Why is it that our African American culture don't want to get help when they know there's a underlying issue of mental health throughout our culture?
There was a time, if you were deemed to be chemically imbalanced or crazy, that you didn't have much value. And so people would want to cast you aside. So if you go back to the days where like people had to work, you know what I'm saying, and you couldn't work because you had issues, then you're a liability. So it's like, why am I feeding you if you're a liability? So people with mental health were treated dramatically different than people who could actually work. If I'm running a farm or a plantation, I want somebody who can work 20 hours a day. I need somebody I got to take care of, or somebody else got to take care of. If you're taking care of him, that means you're not working and he's not working. I'm losing 2 people. So it's like, this isn't a value proposition as an owner of people or farm. Or if you work for me, you come work for me and you can't work and your brother can and he's carrying you, then he's only doing half his work. So it's not a value proposition. So when people can't perform at the levels of the normal, then they get ostracized or they become devalued in a working space. They're not devalued as people, but if I need you to perform a certain way and you don't have the capacity, then you are devalued in this space. So therefore, I'm trying to get rid of you. And people being gotten rid of. So if you were my brother and you were slow or you had some kind of mental health or some kind of incapacity, and I knew that if the teacher found out, they were gonna kick you out of school, if the job found out, they were gonna fire you, I'm gonna try to cover for you. So he ain't crazy, he ain't got no problem, he fine, he just sleepy today. So we came from a culture of covering up for that for a lot of reasons. So now fast forward, crazy was bad once upon a time because it was the difference between life and death. Crazy was bad once upon a time because it meant you could or couldn't work. Crazy was bad because it had a lot of negative consequences to being mentally imbalanced or having a lot of extreme trauma. It came with consequences. Those consequences are no longer here, but the mental of what used to be, like I said, I think violence. My mom thinks, well, if Andre was that when he was a kid, that it'd have been different. And they treated him different. So they try to take kids who are slow and put them in normal school. They don't want them tagged or labeled or branded because it's hard to shed that brand. So people want to be in normal classes, even though they can't keep up, just for the social spot. So I believe there's just a lot of trauma associated with having mental health issues and chemical imbalances or trauma that you couldn't function, and it was bad consequences. So back in the day, you covered for your brother, your sister in the African-American community because there was a consequence to being that. So now we haven't got away from covering it up, and being crazy is always deemed bad, so nobody's crazy. You know what? No, we ain't crazy. We can work. Because if you couldn't work, you devalued yourself. So no, it's not that we don't, it's historical trauma set aside on the people, I'm saying, who've yet to overcome that and across the board.
Question 23. Why is there not more known outlets for help concerning mental health for our youth?
There's not more outlets because you haven't created it. All you people watching this video have the capacity to create. I said early on in some questions, write a letter. You can create, that is what we need. If we're waiting for someone to ride in on a horse and say, hey, here you go, everything you need, it's not gonna happen. 650,000 of us right now, we all have family members. We can get on this phone, we can get on this tablet, we can send out a message, we can make a phone call, video visit or something, and we can start the program that's needed. If 650 or 1,000 of you try it, let's just say 25% of you succeed, we have over 200,000 mental health programs in existence. Let's just say we just get a 10% success rate. That's 65,000 programs in existence. If all of you try right now and say, well, I'm gonna start a mental health program, and everybody tries, and everybody launches their program, and only 10% of you come up with great programs, that's 65,000 great programs. We only have 65,000 cities in America. There's only 3,400 counties. All 50 states, the entire thing, there are 3,400 counties. So Harris County in Texas, in Houston, one county. LA County, one county. You know what I'm saying? Boston, Suffolk County, Boston. The entire city of Boston, one county. Middlesex, one county. I'm saying Queens, New York, Queens County, one county. There are 3,400 counties in the entire country. So if 650,000 of you created a program right now and 10% of you were successful, that's 65,000 programs are split between 3,400 counties. Not a bad deal. We don't have, because we, the men and women who have the knowledge and understanding and the time, aren't putting forth the effort.
Question 24. Why do our communities not come together in helping the parents of someone with mental health?
The community togetherness is a tough one because when I was in the community, I wasn't helping nobody. If you wasn't down on the team, good luck to you. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully you ain't got something I want because I come take it from you. So I wasn't really respected. As a kid, I did. As an adult, I wasn't respecting my neighbors. I was respecting the fellow man. I'm out in the streets getting mine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm robbing and stealing every day. So I didn't promote community. I didn't promote togetherness. I didn't promote, you know what I'm saying, brotherhood or brotherly love. I'm promoting destruction, despair, chaos every single day. And most of the people I did time with did the same. So all this, where's the kumbaya moment? How come nobody's out there hugging anymore? Because we weren't out there hugging. We weren't out there leading and setting the tone. We were the leaders of the community. We were the people that people looked up to. And what did we do? Or, excuse me, what did I do? I did none of the above. I didn't set no programs. I didn't go hug nobody. I wasn't walking nobody across the street. I wasn't carrying nobody's groceries. I wasn't shoveling nobody's walkway. I'm from the Northeast. None of that. It was all about me. Now I'm locked up. I'm like, yo, where's the peace and harmony in the hood? I don't know, because I never saw it. Man, it might be better now because I'm gone. It might be more peace and harmony because Dre out the way. So were you the cloud over the peace and harmony? Were you the blockage to the peace and harmony? Were you the roadblock or the bottleneck to all the things? So I used to be the cloud. Now I'm the sunshine. I used to be the bottleneck. Now I'm the pass-through. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go back and be what I wasn't before. So I need all of you who's saying, why? Go me. They're waiting on you to come bring it. The same way they were waiting on me, and I showed up and I did it. So if you need an example of how to do it, pay attention. I'm doing it. So I used to be me. Now I'm us. And us is inclusive of all 400 million people that live inside these country walls and all 6 billion people that live on this planet. It's us. So we need to understand that what we left and how we left it and how we moved when we were in it. And that's why, partially why it is the way it is.
Question 25.
Vete cinco.
How can we seek more black therapists who is more relatable to our people with mental health issues who they can trust and believe in?
How do we get more black therapists? Black therapists, solely black therapists for black men is not what you 100% need. That is not my prerequisite for a great therapist. My prerequisite for a therapist is you're caring. You have capacity. I'm saying you can communicate. I'm saying you're consistent. I'm saying these are the things, you're competent. I'm saying these are the things that I'm looking for in my therapist. Competency, capacity, I'm saying communication skills, caring, consistency. Those are the 5 things you want first in your person you're talking to around therapy. Then color is last. Is dead last. I'll take these 5 over this one 10 out of 10 times. Yo, Dre, but man, he's black. I don't need to learn how to be black. I don't need no lessons on being black. I don't need no lessons on how to steal a car, how to make a gun move, how to sell a pack. I don't need no lessons on none of that. Not saying all black therapists do. I don't need lessons on blackness. I don't need cultural lessons. I need mental health lessons. So if you're telling me this white guy knows more than that black guy, I'm going with the white guy. If you tell me this Asian lady knows more than this black lady, I'm going with the Asian lady. I'm trying to get the best service possible. Now, if the person happens to be black too, that's a bonus. I'm sure there's some stuff, we can sprinkle stuff on top and make it a little bit better, but the core to me being well, capacity, competency, consistency, caring, you know what I'm saying? These are the things that mattered most. Complexion was dead last on the list. My first mentor, white rabbi. Second mentor, white priest. Third mentor, white nun. Then, what's that? I think the Protestant chaplain was white too. My first 6 people that came to me that I dealt with in prison were all white. I wanted the information. I didn't want to be them. Don't lock yourself into a color thing. Lock yourself into an information thing. Get the information, regardless who has it. Now, if I start talking about money, you have no problem listening to Warren Buffett and the Bill Gates and the Elon Musk. If I go get you 3 black guys, you're like, I ain't trusting it. You won't trust black people with money, but you are trusting with mental health. That's crazy. So the question is, why I won't get, we said money, I'm gonna get you Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. You're gonna sit down and you're gonna listen. You know why? They got the best information. You know, there's 3 black guys that have a lot of money too, but Jeff Bezos, you gonna listen to. Cause he on Amazon. He one of the richest guys on the planet. So when it comes to money, what do you want? You want the best person available. When it comes to mental health, the best person available. Medical, best person available. Basketball, when it comes to my team, you know what I'm saying? What white guy? There was a guy named Jimmy Wall, used to ball this down Norfolk. Bad boy. You know what I'm saying? Bad boy. He's put in work. Wanted him on my team. He was committed to somebody else. Couldn't get him. You know what I'm saying? We had a team. I had a dude named Segundo. Shout out to Segundo, wherever you are. Spanish kid. Bad boy. Listen, He was Steph Curry in our penitentiary. They say Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan, Segundo was Steph Curry before Steph Curry. I ain't care. I had Segundo on my team. If you was down MCI Norfolk with me back in the 90s, Segundo, Spanish boy on my team. I don't know, Mike, there was a dude named Mike. It was a tall gay dude. I think he was Spanish or Indian or something. They didn't care. People were like, yo, why you got that gay guy on your team? He can ball. And he was so shocked I put him on the team, but he threw elbows and everything else. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what he did back in the block, but I know what he did when he was on the blocks down in the gym. He was giving people the business. He was like, he was more aggressive and assertive than anybody else in the goddamn league because he had so much to prove. I put him on my team. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I don't care. Do you, when you back there, but I liked his energy, and I knew he was gonna play hard, and he wasn't taking no shorts. He was going all in. And so, I wasn't trying to make a statement, I'm trying to win. I was trying to win. I got Segundo, he was the best guard, best shooting guard in the system. I don't care he was Spanish. You know what I'm saying? I got the guy Mike, I didn't care he was gay, he was one of the best big men in the system. Point blank. I got the best center in Taboo, and the best backup center in Mike. Hands down, no blame. He would start on, if they would got over the homophobia thing, he could have started on any other team and would have gave us the blues. I had the best two centers on my team, bar none. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, my whole team was renegades for one way or another. I went around the prison and I got the people that people didn't want. If you were the guy that was on the team, you started, he could get suspended, getting in fights, never showed up to practice, talking crazy, you always got kicked off the team. My entire team was that. So Pretty Ricky, my point guard, you know what I'm saying? Lorenzo, my other guard. Again, now we have different neighborhoods. So we have Springfield, Massachusetts and Boston, Massachusetts. Totally different sides of the state, didn't get along. All our beefs was with them and vice versa. So I had two kids from Springfield on my team, Taboo center, Pretty Ricky starting point guard. Beast mode. Now I got Lorenzo, we had Rex, we had J-Rock. You know what I'm saying? Then we had Adrian, then we had Mike. Then, we had dudes from all over the city who were from different gangs or different, I was trying to win. MD from Four Corners, we were trying to win. Greg Sooms, trying to win. You know what I'm saying? And we won. Smashed everybody in the yard. Smashed everybody. I took everybody who said they couldn't play by themselves and put the worst group of people on one team, and we smashed the entire yard. They're like, man, the following year, they had to take 3 teams, merge them into one to try to beat us. That's how that went down. Everybody had to lose 3 teams merged into one team to try to beat us. So if you was in Norfolk back in the day, you know what I'm saying, I was the coach of the year 2 times running. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no game. For the record, I ain't got no game. I got this. I'm a strategist. You know, I paid my players. And you pay them. Yeah, I do. I paid my players. We used to practice. I used to pay them to practice. We ate together. We hung out together. Because I realized that if the only time y'all get together is on the court, then y'all ain't really fretting. Y'all ain't really going to work it out. So we did stuff off the court together. We ate together. We practiced in the rain and the snow. We was outside all the time. And we smashed the yard. So teamwork make the dream work. And the person said is least likely is usually the person that's most likely. You just don't know how to get them over the hump. So ladies and gentlemen, it is your host. It is the author of The Ambassador of Hope, Turning Poverty and Prison into a Purpose-Driven Life, Andre Norman. And I just want to say, yo, shout out to my guy, Jewel. And listen, let's do this again. Here we go. No need to fear. Underdog is here.
Join again for the Underdog Show, starring the champion of champions.
The champion of champions.
Underdog.
Could have been a rapper. Yo, can you get a close up on this? Let's see my man Riff Raff.
In this world, the headlines read of those whose hearts are filled with greed and rob and steal from those who need to right this wrong with blinding speed goes underdog. 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 Speed.
Is he in jail yet?
Yep.
Yeah, be careful, be careful, be careful who your childhood cartoons are. You know what I'm saying? Because I became Riff Raff. I didn't even know it. My mother shouldn't let me watch that, but I watched Riff Raff, and that was my favorite commercial. He was my guy. I didn't realize until I was an adult I came home that I idolized a criminal cartoon guy, and I actually became him. But he still makes me smile. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you. You're phenomenal. Today's your best day, and tomorrow's gonna be even better. You woke up. So whatever was troubling you, whatever was ailing, what was chasing you, it didn't win because you're still here. We're still here together. I will be back. You can hit me, email me, write me. I will definitely reach out. I'm gonna come on here. We're gonna do all the letters, but it's all love. And mental health, trauma, life, I'm saying there's no more them and us and they, and it's just we. I'm saying it's just we. I'm saying don't get caught up in the who's this, who's that. It's like, yo, what can I do to make it better? Is what I ask myself. And I say, do ask Andre. Cool. What can you do to make it better for somebody else? Ask yourself, then go do it. Peace out.